Okay, so welcome to Creative Talks with Production Paradise. I'm very happy today to have in my call some of the top photo agents from Europe and North America. So to get started, I think it's best if each of you just give us a quick introduction of who you are, where you're from, and maybe some words about your talent. So I'm gonna leave it up to you. So first we have Holly, who's in New York.
Hi everyone, so I'm Holly Corbett. HCR is a full-service boutique creative agency. I look after photographers, stylists, hair, makeup, and directors. And I'm happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Holly. And we have Jozef from Czech Republic.
Hello everyone, my name is Jozef Pavleye. I'm director of Pavleye Artist Management and Production. We are based in Prague. We are also full service production and artist management agency. We are looking after mainly photographers, also some directors, and we do full service production for our clients and for our artists. And we are based in Prague. We do international work here and worldwide.
Okay, thank you. Sylvia in Germany, in Munich, I believe.
Yes, hello. My name is Sylvia. I'm the owner of Avenger Photographers. I started up with Avenger Photographers in 2001. And in the beginning, I represented 4 photographers, 3 from Stuttgart, 1 couple from Paris, all with very different styles and therefore unique. Today, the Avenger team comprises 12 photographers, which characterize, as you can imagine, 12 completely different and individual styles in their work. 2 out of 4 from the very beginning are still in my team. Yes, that's
fine. Welcome, Sylvia. We have Jamie from London.
Hi, thank you for the introduction. My name is Jamie Stephen. I am the owner and founder of JSR Agency. We are a production house, artist management agency and content agency. We represent 52 artists, photographers, directors, animators, illustrators, and CGI artists. And it is a pleasure to be here to discuss the state of the industry with you all.
Thanks, pleasure to have you. And finally, we have Michelle in New York.
Hi, I'm Shelly Leal from IMAJ Artists. I'm the co-founder and owner. We launched our agency back in October in 2019. I've been in the business for about 16, 17 years, and I represent hairstylists, makeup artists, stylists, and photographers, and a few directors. We're based in New York and Miami, and I'm very excited to be here today. Thank you for having me.
And are you in New York or Miami now?
Right now I'm in Miami.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me and everybody who's live today. I think everybody wants to know, how you are, how the past 2 months have been for you, and yeah, how's the situation in your city or in your country? Maybe we start with New York or Miami, Michelle, while you're on.
Well, I came down to Miami in March to see some clients, so that was the plan, and see some artists because I spent a lot of time in New York getting the agency going and signing new artists. We have about 17 artists right now. We're keeping the agency pretty small. It's boutique. Myself and my partner building the agency. So we were lucky enough, because I spent many years in Miami, to have a lot of business down in Miami right from the beginning. And the goal was to come down to Miami and see some clients and see some of my artists. And as I got here, everything started shutting down. So, it's tough for the Miami market because March is the busiest time of year for us. And slowly things started canceling. So it was, it's a little bit rough. New York, the same thing started happening right around the same time, like March 15th, was kind of like the week of the last couple shoots, and then everything started to slow down. But I've been busy with developing our new website, which we just launched, and working with the photographers and talking about ideas on how to keep going and staying positive through all of this. So.
Great. Holly, you wanna?
Sure. I mean, really just to add to what Michelle's saying, I mean, look, it's an emotional time for everyone, but, you know, I've always been very hands-on and I've been doing what I would always do, which is to make sure that my talent know that I'm here for them. And the same is with my clients. You know, I've sent all of my clients emails just making sure that they're okay. You know, that's really what I've been doing right now. As well as adding people onto the website. You know, just before this went down, I actually had a couple of new people coming in. So it's actually, you know, I've been spending that time putting their sites together, you know, doing mailing lists, all kind of the behind the scenes stuff, and just, you know, making sure that everyone knows that when, you know, when we can be back to some kind of normalcy, I'm here, I'm waiting, and you know, we'll be good to go with everyone.
Right, thank you. Jozef?
Right. Well, I mean, we are quite lucky here in Prague, because Prague has been kind of opening up in past days, slowly. And for it, I mean, I have to say it's far from normal days, but with our artists, we are sitting down and waiting for you know, clients to open up and so on. However, for the production work, it's already open. So I have to say we already are planning some projects, and we might be even shooting something over the weekend, starting to shoot something over the weekend, which is very exciting and amazing. And we are waiting for final approvals, because it's a photo shoot on the side of the big film shoot. We are producing the still part of the shoot, and it's for American clients. We are shooting via internet remotely. So the clients are trusting the teams here in Prague. So everyone locally is producing it. So we have DOP, we have director, we have all the talents on set locally, and the client and the creative agency are based in New York. So it's being prepared this way. So I'm hoping that it will be confirmed for my photographer and for me. And we are hoping that this can kind of go on and work. We can start working like this at least. On the other hand, we would be very, very happy if the work would come back as it was before, so that we could travel and we could create, and all the clients can be open for business. So I'm wishing this for everybody else, and we can discuss, you know, any aspects on this call, you know, further.
Right, thank you. Jamie?
So yes, the situation in London is, I think, probably very similar to the rest of the world. Still, we are in lockdown. This is, I believe, week 6. We've not been able to shoot anything with more than 2 people in a studio or in a private home for the last 6 weeks. And it has obviously changed dramatically for everyone in our industry, particularly from a production and photography and moving image perspective. We as an agency have kept work flowing because we have animation, illustration and CGI artists, and they can work remotely. So that's been still ticking in these last few weeks. And I would echo some of the statements you guys have made. It's that, you know, we and our clients have been talking about how we can do things and have tried to keep some momentum going, particularly agencies or ad agencies. But I think bigger corporations have had a pretty blanket policy of stopping production and looking after their employees and the world at large. And we do hope things lighten soon, and that legally speaking we can all get back to a new form of normal until it gets back to the world we've known.
Right. And finally, Sylvia?
Yeah, it's a very emotional time at the moment. From one day to the next, everything was stopped and scaled back. Productions in the pipeline have been cancelled or were postponed. The world is changing. Corona changed us. Social contacts were and are restricted now. Human values, solidarity, positive thinking, humor and creativity are more important than ever. Photography has changed well. We can no longer travel around the world. We have a rethink globally and find new way of teamwork and interaction. But I founded my agency in 2001. At that time, a lot of people were simply doubting about how can I only set up my own business, whether that's going well. Oh, we have to book you because we have to support you. back then another shutdown appeared to happen. It was called 9/11. Right in these dark hours, several teams from Avenger and Spirit were on the way towards to New York City in the air. But thank God, each single flight diverted in time or even returned straight ahead. For that moment on, the numbers crashed, the budget were closed, and a kind of shutdown were called. And that circumstances are very traumatic, shocking, and above all, they cause human and, of course, also economic tragedies. But personally, these moments make me humble and absolutely grateful. My new office is in my ex-guest room. There is enough work like ever. Instead of having coffee, we meet at Zoom or Google, and my photographers and I made good use of this time. Future plans were developed, images were finally sorted, newsletters were created, and concepts for free work or editorials prepared, and much more. So that's our situation here, and now hopefully it starts again. And yeah, we have some projects for the future. It's planned for May, middle of May and end of May, and I'm positive.
Right. Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I talked to a couple of creative directors from BBDO and from Ogilvy just to ask them their point of view. And of course, for them, it's been shutting down a little bit, but they are very confident things are going to pick up again very fast. And, they even tried to do some kind of remote live stream, doing the art direction directly, from home on Zoom. And they found that it is actually possible. So even though some people might not be allowed to travel right now, they could still maybe do a shoot in Germany and actually, have the creative director from New York, streaming live and giving some indications. So I think that's something, to look forward to in the future. And, again, the talk with them was quite positive, and they are really looking forward to doing productions again. Of course, they think in the near future it's going to be more local productions, but they're very confident, they have to go back to do international shoots and so on. So I think it's just small step back of course, for everyone, but things are going to go back to hopefully how they were before, or even improved. So, hopefully all of you can go back to some really interesting projects internationally, and yeah, as Sylvia says, learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. The Zoom art direction from afar seems to be the new norm, and will be in the transition phase as lockdown gets eased across different nations. Working with local talent and local people, directing while someone from client side and agency side is on the Zoom chat. It just takes a bit longer, doesn't it? It's not the sort of speed most of our artists will be used to on set. But hey, maybe that's a good thing, and means people would consider the creative more, because a trend certainly we've probably all seen is people cramming more and more into one shoot day. So there may well be positives.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah, so based on that, I wanted to ask you, how do you see the future of your production and the productions from, that your talents are going to go onto? If you've been thinking about how you're going to adapt this, or
yeah, I mean, we're thinking about it, and we are talking to clients about it. And as certainly would appear, things are lessening or being released in terms of the lockdown in Europe. We are planning the exact strategy Jozef and you were mentioning with Zoom or whatever video conferencing, having photographers, if they can travel from one European country to another on set, photographers or directors, using as many local talent and as many family members for cast and crew, because that way you're not mixing. There's this immunity test that people have talked about, which I gather has an 80% success rate. And that is just one way for us helping our production, insurance being valid, and having clients dial in, and just having them being sensitive and appreciative of the time that it will take, and feeding back and getting up in the middle of the night. So yes, yeah, it can happen, and it will happen. It hasn't for us happened just yet. The first productions that we're talking about doing this way will kick off in about 2 weeks' time, pending various things changing. But yeah, this will be the way, I think, for the next few months for most people.
So in 2 weeks, you're going to have a art direction done through Zoom?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, this one we do Microsoft Teams will be the first one, and we're actually getting a satellite link so that we'll be on a remote location using a satellite upload, and that will be going out to 3 different locations. So clients and agency will be getting up and art directing and having to adhere to the different time zones. And it's quite a long production. That's a week and a half shoot. So it will be an interesting test to see how that changes. Or how it rolls each day. Do you see what I mean?
Well, keep us updated. We'd love probably to share some of this campaign after it's live, and just to hear, how it went down.
Of course, absolutely. With the permission of the client. Yeah, gladly.
Right. Anyone else? Maybe from the US part?
I mean, I have a couple of productions that are happening. I have one, I say production, it's really a photographer and a prop stylist. And again, it's going to be, I have a client will be sitting in from Scotland, and then the others are going to be in the US. So it's slow, it's very slowly, it seemed like there was a little bit of a buzziness that's kind of starting. I mean, as yet, we still don't know when we can fully be back, but it was, it was kind of nice to see a couple of the emails coming in, and clients are like, I need you to source this for me. I need this, I need that. It was like, oh, hang on, it's still, it's still the same. And I think obviously I'm going to leave it all to the producers to kind of come up with their way. I'm going to blame it all on them. They're going to have to sort of come up with, this is how it's going to be. But I think what could actually be quite nice in a way that from this is that sets do go back, because they're going to have to be, to being smaller, and you really just have the people that need to be there. And I think, maybe from that, there's going to be a little bit more creativity in a way by just having a photographer working with a creative director and then just working with a stylist. And maybe we are going to get, a little bit more intimacy back, which could be, really nice and a strong way forward.
I guess it would be something for the clients to be able, the clients should be the ones who can actually trust more to their creatives and to the photographers. Yeah. Because in my experience, there was so many last words from the clients that changed everything everybody worked on until that moment, Mm-hmm. So what you were saying, sorry to jump in, but I totally agree with you. And I think this is something the clients who are actually paying for these jobs, that's why they are clients. They should trust more the creatives and the photographers and so on and so forth. So I think this could be also one of the positive aspects of the whole situation.
Yeah.
I was reaching out, like Holly said, to the clients to try and see what's going on and see how they're doing, and because we had options for June, so it's obviously May's not happening, but I was looking for June, and the clients were like, we're just trying to figure it out. And they still have some dates that they're planning to shoot in New York City, and they just say that we need a smaller studio. So especially in New York City with these big studios with so many people and multiple sets. So I think now clients are just looking for more intimate places to shoot where it's not as many people and just have a skeleton crew. So that was exciting to chat with them about how they want to move forward and that they're still thinking about shooting. So, that was nice to hear back from them saying. And then we also had clients saying, we have a photographer who has a model girlfriend. So they have a beautiful house in Miami. Camilla Rios, he's dating a girl from Elite. So, we let them know that if they wanted to send the clothes, he had done one editorial that we submitted to a couple magazines. And then he works for a boutique clothing company. So he did a whole shoot for them with his girlfriend. It was just the two of them. They've been quarantined for a month. So it was, a nice production for them to do something and be creative in the meantime. But yeah, so we're hoping that maybe in, beginning of June or mid-June, some of the clients will try and figure out safe ways to shoot in New York City. It's going to be tough, but, hopefully the clients will pick up the productions.
It's interesting you said it, because in my talk with the creative director from BBDO, one thing he said is he was actually looking for a model who lives with a photographer. So he had few campaigns, and he was like,
send them my way.
I will.
Yeah, it's a unique situation. We also have a photographer who has a 3-year-old daughter, and one of the clients was looking for content for back to school. so, you know, he was looking for photographers who had children, and then, you know, there were certain ages, like 3, and then also another client was looking for people who had kids from 13 to 15. So, you know, I knew another photographer who has children that age. So, you know, I think the clients are trying to just reach out and see how they can make it work. So that's a good way to do it. If you, like you were saying before, if you have a family and you're quarantined, then if you're a photographer, you can shoot your family. And, you know, if they have an in-home studio or even outside, and, you know, around your house or in a park or something. Being safe, of course.
Great. Okay. Sylvia, did you want to share anything?
No, yes, of course, a lot. Yes, we had a few productions during Corona. I had a very small production in Munich. It was not so easy to make it. This was already a challenge. We experienced a very little understanding, of course, from neighbors and even the security people we had to hire for this particular case. On the other, the location was practically empty and actually a dream for every photographer. Space, air, silence. And what Jozef said, it was a wonderful learning for the client, because the team was very, very small, of course. And it was always easy to deliver the creativity, because the client let us go. The customer trusted, and everyone trusted each other, and responsibility was taken. And you could rely on each other. And that was a great feeling and a great atmosphere. And at the end, all this benefited the happy client, and it was a wonderful result. So I'm a bit proud of that, what we have done, and always with behaving and acting appreciative. So, yeah, that was great.
Great. So I think on this call we have a lot of photographers. You know, of course, we're really interested to hear about you on, you know, how you look for talents, and especially if you've changed the way you look for talents now, or you think you're going to look for talents in the future. And also, you know, if you have any tips on how they should approach you. I mean, not you directly, but in general, how they should approach a photo agent. I don't know, Sylvia, you wanna start?
Yeah, of course. The most important thing for me are the images, of course. They must attract, convince, and please, however. But equally, for me, important is the individual and personal message about and from the photographer. I want to know about the origins of my counterpart, coming from, heading towards. What about the inspiration, the vision, the mission? From my personal point of perspective, no cooperation can be successfully done without getting to know each other on a personal base. I want to know how the man or the woman behind the picture is ticking. Only then I'm able to represent the photographer to customer with 100% persuasion and confidence. So I often put together the complete team, and for that reason it is most important to know, or simply just gut my feeling, which people fit well together. This is a secret of a good team, and the better the team, the better the result, and that is important for the rebooking. And as you know, this is the magic word. So that's important for me.
Yeah, great. And
sorry for my German English. Holly, I can see. Hopefully you understand me.
Of course. But do you think you're gonna change slightly the way you look for talents in the future, or
no?
No. Okay. Great.
Everybody else changing something?
A little bit. I mean, the industry is changing all the time, so I therefore am looking for talent who are changing with that. And I would say one of the large things that's going on in our world is the mixture of moving image and stills. And that's not saying you have to be a full-on director and come from that background to be able to produce small 5 or 10 second pieces of motion. but it is a skill to understand the difference in lighting and the difference in cameras and the difference in the output of things. So I think there is a new kind of breed of predator, as people like to call it, who are guys who come up with that knowledge of post-production from a film element as well as from a Photoshop element, and then can produce enough content on a given day and actually have great ideas. All photographers are creative beings, and they do it because they have a passion for the art and the creativity, and they love light, and they love making things. But there are also now, I see lots of people who have great ideas and inspired sort of semi-art director style people who are coming up the ranks. And I mean, I'm very fortunate to have an excellent roster and love my photographers, and they are all adapting with this, and I'm offering them briefs, and they're positively, coming up with solutions to those. So I would say the thing that is changing as an artist, you need to be changing with it, and that's the way you'll get signed.
So, Jimmy, I know you have more than, you said, 50 talents that you represent. What's the most important thing for you to decide, who to represent?
I think sorry, go ahead.
Well, the most important is personality. Simple.
It's always about, I think it's always about the right fit. I would say, to all those photographers that are out there, to people that are feeling disgruntled, don't change anything. It's also a great time to be sending us your links, because we're all sitting at home. And but no, it's absolutely, I agree with the two of you. It's always been about the fit. But no, I'm continuing to look, as I would always do, number one, thinking of my clients, and is this person going to be a good fit for my client? That's what I'm always after. I am after a still life photographer. If there's any out there, send me your links.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's your preferred way for photographers to contact you, or makeup artists, or CGI artists? Is it via email? Is it just like giving you a call? Is it coming to your office? I mean, what's the
mission start dinner tends to work?
Yeah, I mean, it's links. I'm always gonna, people say, I get a lot of stuff sent to me. I open everything, because you never know. I mean, sometimes things can come in word of mouth, or else it's like those cold call links that people worry, should I send them? Are they going to look at it? Are they not going to look at it? I always look at everything. But I mean, sometimes, what, a phone is great. Old school is always nice when somebody calls. It's like, hey.
And should they write a small introduction? So let's say I'm sending you my website and my latest portfolio. You just want something simple, or are you looking to have a whole kind of story about who I am? And
oh, sorry. I always like short and sweet. I think that's good. You don't want to go into a whole essay of everything that you've ever done, because also we're agents. Everyone's looking for something totally different. So I think leave it a little bit unsaid, and just it needs to be about the work. The work's got to call out to you. It's about the pictures.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think it just depends on what you're looking for at a time. If there's a category that you need to fill, or if there's certain clients that you're in contact with that are looking, specifically for a certain type of photographer. I always find that reaching out to email is a great way as well. Like Holly said, keep it short and sweet, because we like to take the time to look, but it's like the work speaks for itself. And then if there's something that we're looking for, then it catches our eye. So as I was building my roster, the last photographer that I signed, Jacob Kurt, he's from Denmark actually. We sponsored his visa, and his work is just so outstanding that he filled a part of the roster that we didn't have. So I mean, his work is so beautiful. He shoots lingerie and swim, and he wants to relocate to Miami eventually. So it was a great fit for me. So you never know. And it was actually the second time he reached out to me. So it sometimes, maybe it's the first time people overlook it, but a second email just to say, hey, as a reminder, if you're really interested in the agency, it doesn't hurt,
I think someone asked how many times they should, contact you before dropping.
I don't think more than twice.
More than twice. Okay. Joseph, what about you? What are you looking for in a talent?
Well, I agree with everything which was said, but for me, it's something which I'm in still photography. In photography itself, what Jamie said, like there is so many new new task given, and you have to be able to shoot video as well, and so on. This is how the markets are changing. But I'm still looking for a very good craftsman, somebody who does it as a craft, as I'm looking for a style. I'm looking for someone, that's me personally, who is a true photographer at heart, so whether they hire a DOP or whether they shoot it themselves, the video, if needed, I don't care that much. As much I care about is if they are true photographers, and I'm looking for the style of the photography and for the consistency of the style. And of course, whenever I speak to the talent, I always ask the question, what I can do for you, and which would be meaningful, and how we could collaborate together. I don't like to give promises which are not relevant, and sometimes there is a great style, but we find out that there is no match because what I want I cannot give, or there's no way that I could give, so there's always, as it was said here before, there must be a match between us and them.
Absolutely.
And we work together as a team, and we work for the clients. I'm looking for artist photographers, not just somebody who can use a camera, because anybody can use the camera, but those pictures are not the same. Anybody can hire a very good post-production studio. Anybody can hire a super talented CGI agency to tweak it and make it look good. But I'm looking somebody with a great style who can actually take the pictures. I would love if the client would prefer taking the actual pictures rather than putting quick, composites together afterwards. That's where this whole industry is kind of heading. Not always, but it's trend where it's heading, which is unfortunate. But I'm looking for the people who are photographers in general,
And how many images would you recommend people send to you? To
me?
Oh, in general.
Well, they can keep sending as much as they want. I mean, it's just the question. Like Elon Musk said, it's you should never, you should never stop. If you want something, just go on. In the worst case, I don't read it, or somebody doesn't read it. So it's like there is no recipe for success. If there was, then we would be millionaires and successful people. So I guess you should follow your heart, and also it's about chemistry. I like that despite all the circumstances we are able to talk right now. We probably wouldn't be able to talk in person, but in general I prefer chemistry when meeting people. Hence I always want to meet people in person. I love to travel in general. I would love to come to New York or London, or I love to travel for production. And when I'm making decisions about life decisions or work decisions, for sure I want to meet in person at least a couple of times, because body language, smell, spark in the eye, showing the portfolio in person, this is very important to me personally. So despite, I mean, of course you can show it, you can see it on the screen, but for making a decision about representation or not, I think any agent would love to see and meet their talents or photographers or their counterparts in person at the end.
Absolutely, I agree.
And is any of you looking for talents outside of your region? I know it's a bit of a mix, but I think a couple of people were asking, if someone is in London, how do they get an agent in New York, for example? How can they know if you're looking for someone outside of your continent or outside of your country? Should they just, again, send you the portfolio and hope for the best?
Yeah, I just said so. I mean, we are always looking for new talent. It doesn't mean we always take on new talent, but as I was saying before, the industry is changing constantly, and therefore we try and adapt and keep up with that. So wherever you're based, whatever you're looking for, yeah, you should keep trying for
it. What about from New York? Are you looking for international talents, or right now you're focusing on US based?
I'm always looking for good talent. I mean, yes, right now I think it's going to be easier having people based, in New York. But no, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I have people that are in London. I've had people that are in France. It really doesn't matter if the work is beautiful and it's a fit. Then no, I will take them.
I
No,
agree. We
this is
signed a photographer from London and then a photographer from Denmark, like I mentioned before. Some truly talented artists that would do well in this market. Hopefully they can travel soon. So.
Did you reach out to them, or did they find you directly and introduce themselves?
The one was Jacob. He had reached out through email, and then I overlooked it, and then he reached out again, and I noticed it, and I was like, wow, this guy is amazing and very talented. And so we met in person because I'm the same way. It's very important for the personalities, and we got along really well, and so we decided to sign him when we opened the new agency, so his visa just went through. Sean Cook is a London-based photographer. He actually, my business partner is, she's a model in the industry, so he shot her a bunch of times, so she knew firsthand that he was an excellent photographer, and she introduced us, so we were lucky to have him as well.
Okay. And I know, Michelle, you represent a lot of makeup artists and stylists.
Yes, hair,
same
makeup, stylist.
Oh.
I'm sorry?
Is it the same? They should approach you the same way because of course they're not, you know.
Yeah, usually emails or word of mouth. People, you know, either I hear about them or they hear about us, and they will reach out to me or I'll reach out to them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And should they show you more like personal work or campaigns they've done?
More, you know, editorial campaigns, catalog, lifestyle, and anything that what they work on. And then if it's a good fit and we like their personality, you know, we'll take them if we need them, because, you know, as a small agency, we want to keep it boutique as well. So we don't want to take on too many artists right away, and then we can't focus on everybody. So we're trying to keep it small right now. Yeah.
I think someone was asking.
But still always looking for talented people. So.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it was one of the questions, you know, should I show my personal work or should I just focus on 4 or 5 images from my latest editorial or from my latest campaign? Do you have any preference overall, or?
I believe you need to show both. The personal work shows personality, and obviously commissioned work shows what you're able to do with clients, and a flavor of who you are as a commercial artist. So yeah, I wouldn't sign somebody having just seen their personal or having just seen only their commercial / commissioned work.
Absolutely. I think this is something which big clients, also the art buyers, as everybody knows, they're looking at personal work and then they look at the commercial work. So it's in my experience or in general experience, and I also prefer looking at personal work first and then commercial work. So, you know, to see what the photographers really are like.
Thank you. Very helpful, I think. So we have a few minutes left. I just wanted to ask, you know, Jamie and Jozef, you know, you've been with Production Paradise for more than 10 years. I think, Jozef, you joined in 2008, and then Jamie 2009, I think, or even 2008. So, you know, you've been with us for many, many years, using our platform and our publications to promote your talent. You know, I just wanted to know how it's been for you, and, you know, how do you see like online marketing and email marketing, you know, in the future, if you think it's still the way to go, or are you seeing any changes in that?
If I may speak first, I do think as a platform, it was very forward thinking when I first saw it, and you know, you guys were very nascent and small when we started off advertising and putting our artists on. But in terms of the source books and the way our industry has moved, you guys went there first, and being online and being a resource that actually can be seen anywhere around the world by all of the creators and all of the clients and all of the talent was a brilliant idea, and it's developed very positively. We get a huge amount of traffic to our website, and I'll keep supporting and advertising on Production Paradise.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. I mean, there is obviously many other platforms, and you know, for our industry, but and it's hard to measure exactly how many new clients or what we you know came through Production Paradise, and I wouldn't even think about that kind of you know so, trying to find out if it was worth or not worth the money. So, but I feel it's a good platform. I like it, and I think it's worth the money, spent on being there. And people keep asking me the same question: is it worth being there? And I feel it's worth being there, even though I cannot quantify how much I made, through the Production Paradise. It's very hard, and I don't think it's a purpose of Production Paradise. There's a completely different purpose of it. And I agree with Jamie, and I like it, and that's why I support it, and I think they support us too. So so keep on doing the good job, and I hope the industry will recover very well, and we will all be back in business soon.
Yeah, I second that, definitely. Yeah, sooner the better.
Yeah, we're looking forward to have some of your new work in our publications. I know, Jamie, you have a few publications with us coming up. So looking forward to see some of your new work.
Yeah, one next week I think we've got coming out. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean that's all on my side. I'm just looking at some questions, but I think we've answered most of them. Before we log out, I don't know if there's anything you want to share before we say bye to each other. Any last word? Any last comment?
Well, I positively want to say that I hope the world will recover quickly, and that the big scary COVID-19 doesn't turn out to be a pandemic in the way that Spanish flu or whatever it was, and we come up with some way of getting back to life normally as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think we're all in this together, and we're all going through it together. And to the talent that are feeling disgruntled, that aren't sure what to do, keep going, and keep going. We're all in it, and we're all going to get through this together.
One way or another, I would say.
Yes. We're all here, we're all here to support you, and it's really lovely having the opportunity to do something like this today, and to actually to meet all of you today, where maybe we wouldn't necessarily have done this.
Very true. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, for me, in the past few weeks, I've had the chance to speak to creative directors. I've had the chance to speak to you guys, and as you said, I don't think it would have been possible to have each of you available at the same time at home. I know you're all very busy, so I'm really thankful for that. And a few weeks ago, I also had a talk with some production companies and photographers in China who were starting to produce again. And I just want to say that the talk was really positive also on their side, and they are getting some of the projects that they lost in the past. They have to adapt to the local productions, smaller teams. They have to keep the social distancing and so on, but they are producing. Photographers are back at work, of course, in a smaller scale, but although they've seen some projects getting lost in the past few months, they are getting a lot more now, especially since it's one of the only places where you can actually do a shoot right now. They are getting a lot of clients, so I'm hoping this is the future for everyone. And I know you've probably lost some clients in the past few months, but I think everybody is eager to get started again. Things will change, but I'm very confident after speaking to so many people from the creative industry, not only you guys, but the creative directors, art buyers, people we have connections with, and overall it's positive. The message is positive, and I think things will start.
Everyone's got the will to keep things going. It's just whether we can legally and safely get people out on set, on shoots.
Yeah.
And the sooner we can prove that it is safe and okay, obviously life will flow.
Yeah, and I think what I'd like to do is, I think this is, as you said, Holly, it's great to be able to speak to each other, and I think to share knowledge. So it would be great, we could speak again in a few weeks, a mix of you guys and maybe the creative directors, and have a bigger call and just share the first experiences, things you've learned, things that you've done wrong, things you can advise for the others. I think that would be really great, not only what's happening now, but let's check up in a few weeks and see how everyone's doing, and hopefully the message is going to be super positive and
Great.
That sounds
Yeah.
great. Very good.
So same time in 5 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
All right,
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone. Speak
Yeah,
to you
take
soon.
care, everyone.
Good luck, everyone.
All the best.
Bye-bye.
Take good care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.